Ever since I was a kid, I loved playing games. And I still remember that one day where I opened up my slow old laptop and I typed how to make a game. Let me just tell you, if you've been thinking about getting into game development, then you totally should. Game development, it's awesome. Because in game development, you can express your creativity in so many different ways than just one. Instead of just like in other programming fields, like doing backend or just front end, in indie game development, which is basically where we work on small games, that's what we call indie. So in indie game development, we do a lot of different things. We can design how the game is going to work, like how the enemies is going to move, how the enemies is going to look, how the main menu is going to look. We can decide how the music is going to be. We can decide how we want to market the game, portray the game, make the logos, the logic of the game. We can basically decide everything in the game, every single thing that we want to. We can choose how we want to make it. Let's imagine you have a small game that you have played before. Like it can be like Stardew Valley, for example, or Hollow Knight, whatever, like indie game, whatever small game it might be. And imagine you can tweak whatever you want. You can think, wow, how am I going to make this game better? Like you have to think about so many different things about how you're going to make the player character look, how you're going to make this story, this mission, this enemy, how they're going to move. Like you can decide so many different things and you can be so extremely creative. That's why it's so fun. And even if you aren't that creative with like art or music and you have some fields that you are lacking in and you don't think that you'd be that good at, like for example, if you're like me, you're more into logic, that's not an issue. You can just focus on the things that you like the most. So let's say, for example, you really like doing music or you really like programming. You can just focus on those two. You don't have to focus on art if you don't want to. You can just make a really awesome game where you just max out the logic, you max out the music, and you just get some free art on the internet, which you can find for free. So you don't need to be like an expert at all of these. You can focus on the things that you want to focus on. Because you can compromise in other fields by just using free assets or just doing workarounds. Because in game development, there are so many free assets and things that you can download. You can download music if you aren't that good at music. You can download the art. You can get game design ideas from AI. Like if you're bad at one of these, you can compromise and get external resources and like implement that into your game so you can focus on the things that you really like and you enjoy doing. So for me, that's logic, for example. I don't enjoy doing art, so I compromise and I make a really good logic game instead of a really good art game, basically. Because that's what I enjoy. Let's just imagine you have your own game. Something that your friends and family can play, something that you can actually show them. Because in game development, we can actually show our product to others. We actually make a product and we can show it to others. That's why game development is so unique. We can be creative in so many different areas and aspects and ways, and we can also get a product from it, where we can show it to our friends and family. It's not some niche thing where it's like very niche and your friends wouldn't understand it, basically. Like, it's a game. Like, your friends would probably enjoy it, unless you make a really niche game. Your friends would enjoy it, your family could play it, something that you can show to everyone and even the internet, because people actually play small games, believe it or not. And you might think, well, obviously it's a hobby or a job, we make a product, but in other jobs and fields, you don't make a product like that, obviously. Let's say, for example, that you do video editing, like for a career. You don't make, like you can make videos for other people, but it's not like a product that you sell and you market. It's not like your product. Like most jobs you can think of, they are basically services. Or if you are a cook, for example, then obviously you make the food, which is a product, but it's not like directly where you have to market the food and you have to like do all the aspects of the food, where you have to like do all the aspects of the food and you have to sell it and market it and all of these things. Like other fields that you can think of, they don't like directly create a product, like a very obvious product that you can show to your friends and family. But in game development, we do. So that's maybe one of the favorite reasons why I love game development. Finishing a game is not even that hard, but it can be hard. Because a lot of beginners, they make it hard by themselves. Like, they get into traps and they get stuck on different aspects and different traps in the industry, which makes them not finish games. That all comes down to a wrong belief of how you learn. Because let's say there are two different types of learning. We have passive learning and active learning. Passive learning, that's basically where you sit in class and you listen to the teacher. In game development, that's where we watch how-to videos, we read guides, or just theory in general. Like, that's where we don't use our brain, we don't use our problem solving in our brain. Whilst active learning, as you might have guessed, that's where we actively solve problems. We actively take notes even. That's like in the middle of passive and active. Like taking notes, problem solving, building real prototypes, experiments, and games. That's what we call active learning. And you might think that we need a combination, like you need passive learning and you need active learning, and it's like 50-50. But a lot of people, they get into this trap where they do so much passive learning. Everything they make is from a guide. Everything they make is from a video on the internet. It's like a tutorial that they just watch and follow. And they just do this endlessly because they think that they need to do that to actually start like experimenting and doing their own things, because they think that they don't have enough skills. But what ends up happening is that the things that they learn, or they think they learn inside of the passive learning, like when they're watching a guide or a tutorial that they follow along, for example, when they do that, it doesn't transfer very well to actually real game development skills. So they can make experiments, they can't make projects, and they can't solve problems, which is how they actually learn. So obviously you need passive learning to know like what these things do, or like learning the foundations. That's what I recommend. I recommend that you watch an introduction video to game development, like the technical theory and stuff, where you know like the concepts and how to do very basic things, which doesn't take that much cognitive function to actually learn, like very simple things like variables or functions. I recommend you learn that with passive learning, where you watch an introduction video and you preferably follow along, take notes, and actively Google and like be curious. But immediately after that, what you shouldn't do is go on Google, search for another tutorial. That's not what you should do. That's a trap so many beginners fall into. What you should do after you watch an introduction video is that you should actively start making problems and building things and just doing experiments. Because when they don't do this, where they actively seek problem solving and they build their problem solving skills and just do experiments, prototypes, and make games, they fall into this trap of too much passive learning, and that's what we call in programming tutorial hell. And there is actually a very good and actually research reason why people do this, and I also got into this trap. And luckily, since you're watching this video, you won't fall into this trap. Luckily, we'll go more into detail about how to learn effectively later, like more in detail. But so many beginners, they do passive learning because it feels productive. That has actually been researched. Passive learning, it feels more productive than active learning, but active learning actually learns you more than passive learning. How interesting is that? So when you're, for example, sitting in class and you're listening to the teacher, it's not like super easy, it's not super hard. It's like you can follow along and you think you're learning new things. You can imagine that. And then you can imagine actually having like a hard problem that you solve. Even as a third person, you'd think that listening to the teacher with like the right skill level when they are speaking is the most productive thing to do. But it's actually the opposite. And when you're sitting at that moment, imagine you're sitting in that class listening to that teacher. Obviously, it's going to feel more productive and that you're learning more than as if you were solving a hard problem. That doesn't feel good, like solving a hard problem and you just want to look at your phone and go away from your computer. It's not hard to see why people think, or our brain thinks. Like as I said, I was doing the same mistake. It's not hard to see why our brain actually thinks that passive learning is more productive. But that's simply not how our brain works. Our brain works best and remembers things when things are hard. If things are easy, like sitting in class, listening to a teacher, just following a tutorial on YouTube, for example, in our case, our brain is not going to remember that because your brain thinks, wow, this is easy. I have these resources available all the time, so I don't need to remember this. That's what your brain thinks. But if you're solving a hard problem, then your brain thinks, wow, this was actually really, really hard. I should remember this so that when I get this challenge again, I can remember it and I know how to solve it more effectively the next time. That's how your brain thinks, and it has been researched even. And you should be very glad that you watched this video, because this is something that took me seriously years to understand. For me personally, it was that I quit game development for a long period of time because I fell into this trap, which we call tutorial hell, where I was doing too much passive learning and not too much active learning. So I wasted years, I didn't see any progress, and that's why I quit. I did other things. I started trading on like stock trading, learning that, but I always knew I wanted to do game development. But the reason I quit was simply that I didn't make enough progress. So after I actually learned the effective way to actually learn, like that's a skill in its own actually, believe it or not, I came into game development again, and I knew how to learn the right way this time. So I came into this, experimented, built games, I built projects, and I did active learning, things that were hard. I didn't follow any tutorials. And that's what made me release my very first game and even second game. So just to summarize, how do we actually learn instead? How are we going to avoid this tutorial hell? Like, it is really a hell. It's a really bad situation to be in, because you spend all this time and you don't get anything from it. So I'm going to tell you how to avoid that right now, and how you can actually release your game, your first game, from no knowledge to actually releasing in 60 days. That's not unrealistic. Like, obviously the game is going to be small, but it's not unrealistic to release a game in 60 days. So let me tell you how you're actually going to learn instead. As I said before, you should start by watching an introduction video to your game engine. And if you don't know what a game engine is, just ask ChatGPT, say what you want to make, and it's going to give you like the game engine that is best for you. Don't overthink this. Don't use more than 2 minutes on this. Literally, it doesn't matter. Then you search up, if it's a Unity, for example, then you search up Unity beginner tutorial. You follow that, like around 2-3 hours, and you follow along. You take notes, you Google, you do active learning, like the things you know what active learning is, like taking notes, being curious. And after that, you should immediately start experimenting. Don't watch another tutorial after that, even though you don't feel like you learned like fully the things in the video. As long as you know the concepts, don't watch any more tutorials. Start experimenting immediately after that. And what to experiment on? Well, that should be something that is extremely easy. Should be the easiest thing that you can possibly do. If it's, for example, spawn a object, which can basically be 1 or 2 lines, do that. If that's the only thing you can do that. And build from there. Like, for example, if that's the thing you can do, spawn the game object. That should be your first experiment. So when you're done that, like something that you shouldn't even search for, it should be like extremely, extremely easy in code. After you've done that, you can either build on that or do like another small thing, but preferably you'll build on that. So what you do is that you spawn it and then you teleport it to another position. You can do that, for example, that's your second experiment. So now you know how to do 2 things. But then your next experiment might be something that you don't know how to implement. Like, let's say you want to do something still that's simple, obviously, but you don't know how to do it. So let's say now you have spawned your game object, which is basically just an object in your game, and you have teleported it, but now you want to change its color. You don't know how to do that, so you think, obviously I'm going to search on YouTube or ask ChatGPT, but no, don't do that. What you're going to do instead is just Google it. Google it, find like the code or the explanation about how you're going to implement it, and then implement it into your specific game. Because opposed to tutorials or ChatGPT, it's not going to tell you specifically how to implement it into your spawning and teleporting system, like the thing or experiment that you just made. Do you get my point? Like the answer you got from Googling, that can be applied in so many different ways. Like some people, they might have like a super advanced game and they need to figure out how to implement changing a color into that. But for us, we have like another script, we have another type of code that we made So we need to find out how to actually implement that into the code that we made ourselves, like our specific code, like our program. And that's where you actually learn, because you can't just copy and paste it likely. You actually have to do some thinking to find out how you're going to implement it into your specific situation. And that's where problem solving and active learning comes in. That's why this isn't passive learning, this isn't like a guide. Because sure, we get the answer, like the implementations, but we would need to anyway because we didn't know how to do it. So we get that. And then we think and we solve the problem of how we're going to implement that into our specific situation. So that's how you do active learning. Start with that. If you do a lot of experiments, I promise you, you're going to learn so much faster than if you did like the common trap of just watching tutorials. So do that. Our goal here isn't to do something like super big, like make a super big game, prototype, whatever. In the start here, like for a few weeks, you should just experiment. Experiment with doing small things, get small wins, like just feel like you can master it, feel like you can do something. That's where you build momentum and you're actually going to learn game development. If you do that, then you're on the right path to release your first game within only 60 days. But if you want to have your journey from complete beginner to releasing your first game within only 60 days, laid out step by step for you, then you can click the first link in the description and join Smart Indie today. And I'll see you there. So thank you for watching.